I'm not going to be here next week either.
Chapter 11, Section 1. First, we're going to start out with the square. Area of a square is side square. Okay? When we think of area, I want us to get a mental picture and a real-life illustration of area. Okay, does anybody in here have ceramic tile on the floors somewhere in your house? Okay, most tiles come in a 1 foot by 1 foot block. You can get them bigger or smaller, but most of them are 1 foot by 1 foot. That is a perfect illustration of square footage. That's a square foot, okay? However big your room is, if you have a room that is 10 feet long, minusing out the room that you need for grouting lines, but if you just imagine all we're putting is the blocks, you would need 10 blocks, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, if you have a room that's 10 feet long by 10 feet wide, you need 10 rows of 10 blocks. So you would need 100 blocks. So a 10 by 10 room is 100 square feet. Okay? Perimeter of a square, again, let's get a real life application here. Your backyard. You have a new pet Rottweiler puppy, and you have to fence it in so it can't kill the neighborhood children. So you have to make a fence, okay? The fence to go around the yard is an example of perimeter. Let's say you need to go to Lowe's and you need to buy bags of fertilizer to fertilize your backyard. Is that an example of area or perimeter? Area, because you need enough bags to cover all of the grass in your backyard, okay? So when we're talking about these things, I want you to don't just say like perimeter like a word, you know, like think about what is it. All right, now, like I said, none of this stuff is super easy. Don't expect that I'm just going to throw up a 5 right here and say, find the area and the perimeter. Because that's just way too easy.
I like that.
Okay, it's elementary, dear Watson. I like it. All right.
My name's Nick. You know what?
Wait, what's Watson?
Okay. If I told you that the perimeter of this square was equal to 60, we'll say 60 inches. And then I asked you to find the area of the square. Before you can find the area, you need to find what?
The length of each side.
The length of the side. Well, if there are 4 sides that are all equal to each other, and those 4 sides add up to 60, which is?
15. Wait, how do I get 15 times 15?
60 divided by 4. So the sides have a length of 15. Now I can find the area.
225.
225. 15 squared. All right? That's one variation of how I can ask you to find area. Here's another one.
All cosine.
Suppose I asked you to find the area of this object. First off, I haven't told you it's a square. Can you prove to me that it's a square? Logically,
Yes.
you can. And
The
raise your
diagonal.
hand to explain it to me.
45, 45, 90, and then the angles are bisected.
Okay, well, let's just start with this. If this is a 45, 45, 90, then this is an isosceles triangle. Okay? I would need to tell you something else about perpendicular parallel lines
To be able to say that.
to be able to say that the other ones were also equal. But we're just going to assume that we already knew that. Okay, if I told you that these 2 lines were parallel,
Then we could say that.
then that would mean that these 2 angles had to also equal each other, and so the opposite sides were equal. Okay? All right. Now, how am I going to find the length of the side for that square?
We just.
The cosine.
You can use sine, cosine, or tangent, or isn't that a special right triangle?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a 45, 45, 90. And in that one, I know the hypotenuse, and I'm looking for the leg.
Hypotenuse leg.
D-leg.
If you know the hypotenuse, what do you do to it to find the leg?
Divide
Divide by
two.
the square root of 2. Okay? Divide by the square root of 2. Now, can you have a square root in a denominator?
No.
Nope.
How do you fix it?
Multiply.
Multiply both of them by the square root of 2.
Multiply both of
And then
them by
cancel
the
that.
square root of 2, and that gives you
7 square root of 2.
over 2.
Or
Okay.
49.
You could do that too. All right. Now that you know the length of the side of this square, could you find the area?
Yes.
The area would be 7 square roots of 2 over 2 squared. Figure that out on your paper. Don't just shout out an answer. I want to see if you do this correctly.
Wait, what did you say?
What is that?
Find the area if that's the length of the side. What does it mean to square something? Multiply by itself.
That's a
You
49.
could do
right?
You should have gotten that the area was 24.5. Now, how? If I square this expression, it means I'm multiplying 7 times 7 to get 49. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 to get 2. And 2 times 2 to get 4.
Okay.
And then instead of multiplying 49 and 2 together and then trying to simplify, I reduced 2 and 4. And 49 over 2 is equal to 24.5. Now, if the side has a measure of 7 square roots of 2 over 2, what's the perimeter?
The side has that. Oh my god.
Anybody get 14 square roots of 2?
At 12 square roots of 2. 96 divided by 8 is 12.
But when you multiply 7 square roots of 2 over 2 by 4, are you multiplying it by 4 over 4 or 4 over 1?
I just got 7 square.
This should not become 8 in the denominator.
Okay.
So it's 28 square roots of 2 over 2. And 28 divided by 2 was 14. Okay?
Wait. Wait. I thought it was 28 times.
It's the side, here's the length of my side, times 4. Okay?
How do people take this without
I thought you were supposed to take geometry before you took algebra too.
That's the recommendation of most people, but not me.
Yeah, my mom said that too.
Okay, the second one we're going to deal with today is a rectangle. It's just a long square, I guess you could say. It's not a square, but you take a square and you lengthen it. You squish it. Make it squishy. All right, now you may have learned the area of a rectangle to be length times width. We're going to rephrase it as base times height. And that's because all of the things that we're going to be dealing with, we're going to deal with